Hello and welcome to the September 25th, 2023 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick. This is brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we've invested in this, as can be seen by our beautiful light cast by our light ring, our great little Yeti mic, the fact that I'm using Streamlabs finally to do this crap. Man, we are really getting into the thick of it. We're on every other Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News Facebook page. We're on Facebook Meta, whatever the hell it's called this week. We are working on cross-platforming, and between now and the next episode of Nick's News, we will have the Nick's News YouTube page up, where I will be able to put these videos up, do clips, just all the fun little stuff I've been really kind of hoping to do for so long since I started Nick's News, but I'm finally in a place where I can do it. And I'm so excited to be able to do more with this. So this is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from goodnewsnetwork.org. I should be an anchor for them by now at this point, but maybe it's the alcohol that stops that from happening. We do appreciate articles sent in by you, the viewers. So, I am going to make more work for everybody in trying to derail me as this goes on, and maybe a little bit more work if you guys so choose to like the Nick's News Facebook page or follow it or get notifications or whatever you want to do. You know, I'm not going to push anybody to do anything, so it's on you guys to do whatever you want. We did have a little timer up now. I figured that out in the last 5 seconds, how to set up a timer. So we'll have a longer timer going on in the future. Something is bogging my computer down, which seems really weird considering how powerful this computer is. It could be the fact that I have the stream running so that I can post stuff. Because with Streamlabs, I can't post anything. I'm still trying to figure out how to change the text, the chat box. Not only is it doing the double speak, but it also doesn't let me post into my own chat. So I'm trying to figure out a way to post into my own chat. So that is about that. Let's get caught up. Hello, C. Eliza Bishop. Hello, Sean. Hello, Cassidy. It is good to see all of you guys. Streamer timer. I can't see it. Well, it already went off. The stream, you're late. I actually had the streamer timer running for 5 minutes, and then I realized that it had already run itself out, so I had to quick create a black screen and then run the timer again. And when the timer's done, it says time for the news. So it's really cute. I love it to death. If you watch the replay, you'll see it pop up. Let's see. What do we got for our news brew? So our news brew. This was sent to me by Julie a while ago. There's a reason it was a while ago. It's because our news brew is Pumpkin Beer for Cafés by Off Color Brewing. It is a 5% ABV pumpkin beer brewed with pumpkin puree, tea, and pumpkin spices. So, I don't like pumpkin beer. Folks who know my drinking habits know that pumpkin beer ranks very low on my to-drink list. I will do one pumpkin beer a year for Nick's News when the season hits. So this is my one pumpkin beer. It is a can, so we don't need the Balisong bottle opener. Let's crack this sucker open and let the Yeti mic catch this. Oh, wow, that actually bumped up the max on my... that bumped up the maximum recording volume on the Yeti. That was a good catch. We are going to pour this into the Share a Pint glass that Ashley gave me. She got this for donating blood. She does so on the regular. And, yeah, they were handing out pint glasses for one of them. So, Ashley, thank you so much for giving me my pint glass to use today. Oh, shit, I'm already fucking it up. I might also not be a Good News Network anchor because of all the swearing that I do. This channel is not for children. I mean, there's drinking, there's swearing, Yeah, I have screwed this up terribly. Oh man, that we're already off to a bad start with pumpkin beer. I don't like the color. I don't like the head. I don't like. Oh God, I am not basic white bitch enough for this beer. I'm gonna make that a YouTube clip when I get that running. I am not basic enough for this beer. The pour is automatically fucked. It's a cursed pour. Oh, hold on. There we go. I don't have like sound foam or anything up, so my hair is a mess too. Oh man. Trying to get this gas out. I mean, this is a gassy beer. I don't want all this in me, obviously. We're going to let this sit because we've got something else to drink. So, yeah, we're going to set that off to the side. So, today, getting into our shout outs. Today would have been the 34th birthday for my brother Dan. Many of you know him as JR. The LARPing community especially knew JR. He was Kodiak. He was the big bear with the Sons of Kilishandra. And yeah, today would have been his 34th birthday. And brother, you are missed. So I am going to do a toast to JR. If you've got something on you, you can join me. I got a bottle of Kraken rum because that's what we would all sit around the table and drink. And I've got my Sons of Kilishandra shot glass. Honor, loyalty, unity, family. So, here's to you, brother. Toast to you, Pooh Bear. Hold down the fort until the rest of us get there. Am I waiting or am I drinking? As he grabs a fresh beer, I guess I can wait for folks to be ready. Anybody that wants to toast with me. I remember there's like a 7 to 10 second delay. I was actually watching it earlier. It's very interesting. Ooh, that's why that's eating up memory. It's because I've got all these attached right now. Oh, no wonder I'm screwing up my own stream. JW Red Label. Yeah, it's gonna be like you again. Yep. Oh, y'all ready? I'm waiting to see some readies pop up in the chat. Oh, the clock on the... Yeah, my old butcher block clock. God, I've had that for a long time. All right, everyone. To JR. Cheers, brother. Whew. All right. For the news quote, we got an article in this Nick's News that I felt was really relevant to this one. When I was looking for good quotes for today, it turns out that JR shares his birthday with a very famous actor. And this quote is from that actor. So the news quote that I chose for today is, "We live in a time when the words impossible and insolvable are no longer part of the scientific community's vocabulary. Each day we move closer to trials that will not just minimize the symptoms of disease and injury, but eliminate them. And that was from Christopher Reeve, who's an American actor, a film director, an author, and an activist who is best known for his role as Superman. Christopher Reeve was paralyzed in a horse riding accident, and forever after that moment was an advocate for the different experimental surgeries and sciences and medicines that were going on regarding the repair of the spinal column. He did a lot of charity work. He did a lot of work as an activist for his causes. And there's an article that's directly related to this one. So I thought that was a really good article. I also loved it that his birthday was on JR's birthday. So cousin, a mentor, and a brother. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, one more time with that news quote. We live in a time when the words impossible and unsolvable are no longer part of the scientific vocabulary. Each day we move closer to trials that will not just minimize the symptoms of disease and injury, but eliminate them. Thank you very much, Christopher Reeve. I am going to hold off on that pumpkin beer, and I'm actually just going to take another shot of Kraken. That is how much I don't want to drink the pumpkin beer. Cheers. Topping off my pumpkin beer, despite my reservations. Yeah, I remember. Drink it down, taste it later. I remember Gear talking about the Da Vinci that worked on him, which was really cool. The Da Vinci is insanity, like just pure science fiction brought to reality, and a very neat piece of technology. Yeah, stem cell. Yeah, it is. It is sad that Christopher Reeve went before these innovations, but at the same time, his memory will live on in championing them and pioneering, pushing for them, with his activist work. So, bug update. Life is very good for the bugs in my home. Charlie was kind enough to tell me earlier today that I am a good bug dad. I talk to my bugs. I treat them, with the respect I can. As a keeper, I keep them well. However, bugs grow old. Mantises especially, they live for yet less than a year. Normally, under the right circumstances, you can keep them longer. Maverick is still alive, but he is beginning to show his age. During a tussle with one of his crickets, he lost a tarsus. Now, a tarsus, if you look at a mantis's raptorial limb, those nice stabby limbs that they have, coming off of the limb is this like filamentous little projection. And that's what they use to walk on. They don't actually walk on the tips of their claws. They walk on a tarsus, which is an extension. It's kind of like the end of a leg. And it's got its own little tarsal claw for them to grip onto things with. But they're very fragile. And especially when they get older, they begin to lose things. And tarsi, those tarsuses, or tarsi, those tend to go. So he has lost one of his tarsi. He is still getting around just fine. He's eating just fine. But it is notable that he's lost it. The darkling beetle. Oh, I'm still trying to find him a mate. Females are incredibly difficult to find. They're really good at hiding. But I am keeping an eye out in the woods around my work and my home, hoping to find a female to get with him. The darkling beetles, I've been referring to them as the Dark Knights a little bit. They are doing very well. I feed them every day. They're very active at night. I was actually playing, I was up late playing Sea of Thieves over the weekend, and I heard something, and it turned out to be the darkling beetles actually out and about in their tank. So that was really nice. They're in the second tank here, so this guy right here. And I'm trying to get more of them. Nobody has them yet, so still trying to get more of those darkling beetles. And then the roach home is teeming with life. I've got that thing completely bioactive. The only thing I have to add is a little bit of food now and then and water. Otherwise, it is self-sufficient. I have an ecosystem going. And the roaches, I'm very happy to provide them with a very strong bioactive community. So it's really neat in there. Gear is here because of that robot short a kidney. Oh, man, that is true. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get on Nick's News. Nick's News is good news, it's entomology, it's all sorts of fun stuff. So, with that, I think we're ready to get into our good news. So, our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and we like to end on those wholesome notes, those really nice articles that make us feel good inside. So we're gonna start off with science and technology. We'll real quick check the chat. The roaches are made. So some of them are not in this case. Those roaches are not. I will not feed those roaches. Like those 6 to a mantis. Those are my primary 6. Now, if they have kids, that's roach food. But not those not those 6 roaches. So they're safe. Their kids aren't. All right. Getting into our first category, science and technology. We are going to start off with an article I called In Rain or Shine. I will post this. I've got to reopen my logger. And I will post this in the chat for y'all to read along with me if you'd like. Actual title of this one is Ingenious Snowproof Solar Panels Can Work in All Weather. Game-changing tech. And actually, I'm going to move my articles here closer to my screen, or closer to my webcam so I can address the webcam better. There we go. There we go. Much better. All right. No, roach food to mantises. I'm not feeding the roaches their kids. I'm feeding the mantises their kids. That sounds worse. All right. So, ingenious snowproof solar panels can work in all weather. Game-changing tech. Snow accumulation atop solar panels causes energy losses of between 5% and 15% every winter in northern climates around the world, with some heavy snowfall even leading to mechanical loads that damage PV modules. Keeping solar panels snow-free has been a costly and inefficient proposition. Until now. Materials and engineering scientists, at the University of Toledo have developed an ingenious solution that is winning awards and satisfying the demand of 150 solar plant operators in their latest pilot tests. The production is a novel strip that is applied to only the lower edge of the panel, which causes the melting of the snow without interfering with the absorption of sunlight. In a video demonstrating snow-free solar, the Ohio innovators say the easy-to-apply strip does not cause any partial shading or hot spots on the panel and does not invalidate module warranty. It can, in fact, improve the life expectancy of the panels. The flexible strip doesn't require any energy to operate, and the coatings are extremely durable, strongly adhering to the PV. It's pretty neat. So far, no Canadians. That is a really neat fact. What's the fun fact? We got a fun fact. Hit that while I keep it running here. There is no need for power. It is passive, says Hossein Sajudi, the associate professor and technical advisor who founded Snow-Free Solar. You apply it to the lower bottom and it works from there. Just apply to lower bottom. Super easy to install. The job can be done by unskilled labor with no training. The company isn't providing technical specs because of ongoing competition in the field, but so far, no known failure mode has yet to be identified. Over several winters of rigorous durability tests conducted by a solar photovoltaic testing laboratory, so they haven't found a failure module. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means they haven't found it yet. So it's entirely possible it is there. And again, we just haven't found it yet. So, we also showed that our strip coatings are durable during regular cleaning of solar panels. Through strategic partnerships, we demonstrated scalable manufacturing of our product with monthly production rates of 60,000 strip coatings, he added. They expanded their pilot test partners to more regions and utility companies with thousands of expected installations by the end of 2023. What is my chat doing? That's weird. The data demonstrated more than 3.4% and 5.1% annual improvement in power generation in Massachusetts and Japan, respectively. So they are testing this thing across the world. Fantastic. With additional direct sales to pilot test partners and a payback time of 2 years, they estimate to reach a production rate of 1 million strip coatings by the end of 2024. So that is a ramp up of production. Our solution is a game-changing technology, said their business advisor, Dan Vining. They will use funds won in the American-Made Solar Prize to hire new talent and continue their efforts to reach 28 million utility-scale panels in the 11 U.S. states with heavy snowfall. We're probably one here in Michigan. That may lead to an additional $150 million in annual revenue, commercializing their product to deliver on the promise of solar energy all year long. That is solid. You get caught up on chat. A lot of legislatures are laboring under the impression that we don't get enough sunlight to have solar farms. Yeah, I know. Sometimes on the long drives I've had to take recently for work or for getting out of the state, I've noticed on quite a few solar farms pop up, and it's like we get plenty of sun in Michigan, so I don't know what gives. Buy the tech from Canadian Tire. Interesting. 2 years is pretty damn... Yeah, return on investment of 2 years is pretty solid. Industrial scale is a hair different, but the tech itself isn't new. I didn't think it was new either, really. Like, just reheating strips, so... That is pretty neat. Who is the major leads on this again? Let me see. What is this company called? Snow Free Solar. All right, here comes the pumpkin beer. To Snow Free Solar. Cheers on your engineering. Poison! No! 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 No, no, no. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, that is vile. I have to get through that whole can. This is a sad day. Oh, why is my laptop having trouble? Oh, is that picking that up? Yeah, that's picking that up, isn't it? Y'all hear a whirring or a fan noise in the background? Yes, Charlie, we just made my mouth sad. Thanks, Ben. You slew my sacrifice. Yes to the fan. Shoot. That, for some reason, something that is up right now is driving my laptop insane. I don't quite know which, what it is that's doing it, so I'm going to close out a few things and see if I can kill it. Wow, that just ramped up. Pull that. See, it's weird that it's not tracking exactly what it is. I was looking at that earlier. I was keeping that up alongside the stream when it started to do it during the warm up, and I'll have to figure it out later. Okay, no fan, so it's not catching it now. All right, cool. We'll run with that. All right, what did I call this next one? I think I called this next one Built Tonka Tough. And I will copy and paste this in the chat if y'all want to read along with me. I gotta find my chat page that I opened up. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Old wind turbines are repurposed into footbridges capable of supporting 30 tons. Wind turbine blades set to be landfilled or incinerated are being turned into footbridges that can hold the weight of a 30-ton digger. Currently, there are around 11,000 wind turbines in the UK, and estimates suggest that 450 blades will be decommissioned in Ireland by 2030, creating tons of non-recyclable waste. We actually did an article on this before, and it was the introduction of this idea of how to reuse wind turbine blades. Wind turbine blades, from an engineering standpoint, are incredible for their durability and their strength. Finding something to do with them when they've reached end of life, they're not recyclable. They're not made from recyclable material. Breaking them back down is out of the picture. But repurposing them is not. Background fan. Fuck, the background fan is still going. It is interesting. I wonder if I turn the microphone away. Can y'all still hear me all right? Oh, there it was. I can see that it is kicking on the... Yep, I can see the mic is still picking up the background fan, even when I've got it in parabolic mode. Or whatever the mode is where it's looking at me. That is so interesting. One of these articles is doing it, because it didn't do this during the tech test. That's so weird. I don't know which article it is that's doing it either. I have my guesses. A few of these are not from Good News Network, and they are just rife with ads that are probably just driving the use up. Wow, that got my laptop fan going. I am going to have to do some work on my laptop between Nick's Newses so that it is not running at that kind of insanity. All right, let's get back to the article. In a bid to avoid filling up the landfill, a transatlantic research network led by Queen's University's Belfast called Rewind, I'm not quite sure what they're going for there, was set up to find new ways to repurpose the blades. Working together, geography experts, design architects, and engineers have discovered that by using just 2 turbine blades, they can create a bridge. Already, the team has successfully built 2 footbridges in Ireland, a 21-foot bridge in Draperstown, Northern Ireland, and a 15-foot bridge in Cork in the Republic of Ireland. Cork in the Republic sounds like a very Irish town. The bridges, which are made from 2 wind turbine blades, are known as blade bridges and passed rigorous testing in May, and I think that's about when we did the last Nick's News article on this. A 3rd bridge is also underway in Atlanta, Georgia. Over the last 30 years, wind farm development has been scaled up globally, but this is now posing a major environmental challenge. The turbine blades, which are non-biodegradable, have a lifespan of just 20 to 25 years. After this, they are either landfilled or incinerated, something Sean brought up earlier in the chat, with incinerating them and possibly reusing the resin, but maybe it's just not something that can be broken down. The researchers have also been looking at ways to use the blades to build bus shelters, barriers, street furniture, and telecommunication towers. All really cool tech. It has been incredibly exciting and rewarding to work on this project, commented Professor Maroy, oh wow, I'm going to butcher this name, sorry sir, Maroy Satos from Queen's University. As researchers, we like to push things as far as we possibly can in order to come up with the best solution available. In this instance, we've been able to create a footbridge from 2 wind turbine blades, which is able to hold 30 tons. That's the weight of a digger. And if you haven't seen a digger, it ain't hard to find pictures of them. I got to be up close and personal with a digger when I went to Hibbing, Minnesota, one of our foundries in the family foundries that I work with. And yeah, diggers be big. This could have a very positive impact for society going forward, as we are only going to have more of these blades becoming decommissioned as the years go on. Building up the community. For the Draperstown Bridge, computer-aided modeling was used to come up with the structural design, but the researchers had concerns that the bolts used might tear when weight was added. It was tested by loading it with 34 blocks, each weighing 1,100 kilograms, or if we 1,100 kilograms to freedom units. Oop, no, it doesn't like that when you punch in freedom units. 2,425 pounds. I should have remembered the conversion for that. Man. So yeah, it was loaded up with 34 1,100 kilogram blocks, and the results were very positive. The bridge was able to take much more weight than expected. Yeah, 2,425 pounds each block. 34 of them. We designed the bridge to avoid failures, and during testing, there was no tearing, no failure at all, said Kenny McDonald, technical manager in the School of Natural and Built Environment at Queen's University. We kept loading these concrete blocks, and we could not get the bridge to fail. We're continuing to work with the network and our colleagues in the USA on the bridge in Atlanta. After this, we would like to see if more blades can be added to make it longer. We'd like to join two together and increase the length. We're hoping to secure further funding to do this, he said. Part of the part of the network is University College Cork and Munster Tech. Wow, that sentence is a tongue twister. Part of the network is University College Cork and Munster Technological University, and they've taken the project in a different direction and made a spin-off from the Rewind research called Blade Bridge. They've been looking at a variety of uses for the blades. I'll get to that in just a moment. We are partnering with well-known designers here in Ireland to create a portfolio of durable and sustainable products such as Greenway furniture and bridges, said Blade Bridge co-founder Dr. Angie Nagel. Our first customer was Mayo County Council, who recently installed a suite of our furniture on the Greenway extension in Ackhill. The bridge in Cork was completed in January of 2022 and funded under the Irish Department of Transport's Project Ireland 2040 initiative. With a 20-year lifespan, there will be around 8.6 million metric tons of blades being decommissioned worldwide by 2042. Innovative solutions have to be found to keep them out of landfills, but it's worth the effort as most blades are made from fiberglass, an expensive material to buy and shape. Eliza did their MBA dissertation on green. That is fantastic. I love that. There's a lot of great ideas, and hey, at least it's something, but nothing is 100% perfect. That is true. I had the option to take some green energy electives, but I was already taking a pretty heavy class load during my bachelor's, so I did not get into it, but man, do I wish I could have, especially for product design and manufacturing engineering. Grand Valley's got a great program, so that is really cool. So, to Blade Bridge and to Rewind on working on finding new purposes for the wind turbine blades that will be decommissioned. Cheers. Whew. Oh. Pumpkin. Death. All right. So that's going to take us out of science and technology. That is going to bring us into our second category, health and medicine. This article comes from Cassidy. So Cassidy, thank you so much for sending this one in. I call this one Regenerating Movement. I will post the actual article in the chat. Oh, not that article. There it is. I will post this in the chat if y'all would like to read along. There's my chat. There it is. Paste. Regeneration across complete spinal cord injuries reverses paralysis. When the spinal cords of mice and humans are partially damaged, the initial paralysis is followed by the extensive spontaneous recovery of motor function. However, after a complete spinal cord injury, this natural repair of the spinal cord doesn't occur, and there is no recovery. Meaningful recovery after severe injuries requires strategies that promote the regeneration of nerve fibers, which is a very difficult friggin' cell in our body to recover. But the requisite conditions for these strategies to successfully restore motor function has remained elusive. 5 years ago, we demonstrated that nerve fibers can be regenerated across anatomically complete spinal cord injuries, says Mark Anderson, a senior author of the study. But we also realized this wasn't enough to restore motor function. As the new fibers failed to connect to the right places on the other side of the lesion. Anderson is the director of Central Nervous System Regeneration at NeuroRestore and a scientist at the Weiss Center for Bio and Neuroengineering. Working in tandem with peers at UCLA and Harvard Medical School, the scientists used state-of-the-art equipment at EPFL's campus biotech facilities in Geneva to run in-depth analyses and identify which type of neuron is involved in natural spinal cord repair after partial spinal cord injury. So again, pumpkin burp. I hate it from here. I hate it right now. He likes to move it. Meant to move it. Yep. Oh man. I am gonna need more medicine after this. All right. So again, to recap what we've gotten through so far, with partial spinal cord injury, with recovery, there is the restoration of movement. However, with total spinal cord injury, there is no restoration of movement, even when nerves manage to bridge the damage. Our observations using single-cell nuclear RNA sequencing not only exposed the specific axons that must regenerate, but also revealed that these axons must reconnect to their natural targets to restore motor function, says Jordan Square, the study's first author. The team's findings appear in the journal Science. The discovery informed the design of a multi-pronged gene therapy. Time to get into genetics. The scientists activated growth programs in the identified neurons in mice to regenerate their nerve fibers, upregulated specific proteins to support the neuron's growth through the lesion core, and administered guidance molecules to attract the regenerating nerve fibers to their natural targets below the injury. We were inspired by nature when we designed a therapeutic strategy that replicates the spinal cord repair mechanisms occurring spontaneously after partial injuries, says Square. So they watched partial injuries, they saw how they repair, and they followed that path. Mice with anatomically complete spinal cord injuries regained the ability to walk, exhibiting gait patterns that resembled those quantified in mice that resumed walking naturally after partial injuries. This observation revealed a previously unknown condition for regenerative therapies to be successful in restoring motor function after neurotrauma. We expect that our gene therapy will act synergistically with our other procedures involving electrical stimulation of the spinal column, or spinal cord, says Gregor Cortine, a senior author of the study who also heads NeuroRestore together with Jocelyn Block. We believe a complete solution for treating spinal cord injury will require both approaches, gene therapy and regrowing of relevant nerve fibers, along with spinal stimulation to maximize the ability of both these fibers and the spinal cord below the injury to produce movement. That's really cool. While many obstacles must still be overcome before this gene therapy can be applied in humans, the scientists have taken the first step towards developing the technology necessary to achieve this feat in the years to come. Christopher Reeve was a massive pioneer and an activist towards research of this nature, and it is really cool to see that we are moving in the right direction. Cassidy, thank you so much for sending in this article, and to everybody involved in these studies at the Weiss Center for Bio and Neuroengineering, the Nervous System Regeneration, at NeuroRestore, to all of you and all of your hard work. Cheers. This for you, because I ain't doing this for me. Oh God. Oh, I did not know that about nose rings. That's interesting. That would suck to go through a nerve in your nose. Oh. Shut up, Sean. I didn't butcher it that hard. I only screwed up a few names. Jerk. Alright, let's close that one. Oh, that beer. I have to drink the pumpkin beer, Julie. You gave me this one. This one is from you. I have to drink it, and I'm doing one pumpkin beer a year. This is my one. Oh, Lord. All right. Cassidy sent in this article as well, so thanks again, Cassidy. Cancer. Fuck cancer. Cancer's done a number on my life with regards to my family, and not a big fan. So anytime we get a cancer article or news regarding cancer, it will always get the title of Cancer. Fuck cancer. I will copy and paste this in the chat for y'all to read along if you would like. I will not toss a beer. I'm not a bitch. I just will drink it under protest. Actual title of this article. You don't like seeing me in pain. That's fine. I got this. All right. Can a vitamin transform natural killer cells into a cancer therapy? Scientists think the answer is yes. Cancer patients appeared to benefit from natural killer cells obtained from donors in an experimental method of treating cancer that involved an aggressive army of immune system fighters endowed with the ability to home in on malignant cells and destroy them. I really started getting into that paragraph. The natural killer cells were pre-treated with nicotinamide, a compound widely known to most people as niacin or vitamin B3. Pretty sure energy drinks are loaded to the brim with those. It's a substance with a special affinity for natural killer cells, enhancing their capacity to annihilate cancers. If it's part of the usual cocktail of an energy drink that sends our heart rates through the roof and our brains into overdrive, I can't imagine what it's doing for the immune system. Once primed in the laboratory, these natural killers are ready to be unleashed against formidable targets. The evolving methodology has shown promise in a preliminary study aimed at forcing hard-to-treat cancers of the blood into remission. Prior to the new research, which was published in Science Translational Medicine, attempts by other teams to use natural killer cell infusions as a therapeutic for leukemias, lymphomas, and other blood malignancies weren't always effective. Doctors were confronted with a problem. Some people simply didn't respond to the investigational treatment, which was offered after standard therapy had failed. Now, in a unique take on this emerging form of cancer treatment, medical scientists in the Division of Hematology, Oncology, and Transplantation at the University of Minnesota have devised a way to boost the effectiveness of natural killer cells, enhancing their role as a therapeutic. The innovative approach boosted the impact of natural killer cells and brought about remissions in patients with otherwise recalcitrant cancers. That's fantastic. Allogenic natural killer cell adoptive transfer has shown the potential to induce remissions in relapsed or refractory leukemias and lymphomas, writes Dr. Frank Kichoki and colleagues in the journal. Strategies to enhance natural killer cell survival and function are needed to improve clinical efficacy. We demonstrated that natural killer cells cultured ex vivo with interleukin-15, IL-15, and nicotinamide exhibited stable induction of iselectin, a lymphocyte adhesion molecule important for lymph node homing. Whoa, that was a mouthful of a paragraph. Oh my gosh. So basically, what I'm getting from this is they figured out they can hypercharge the immune system to hunt down specific cancer cells by force-feeding them interleukin-15 and nicotinamide. And then they put them back in, and they go bonkers. They go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and the Cocoa Puffs is cancer. Nicotinamide helps the body turn food into energy and is chemically part of the coenzymes NAD plus and NADH, which are critical in oxidation reduction reactions throughout the body. Among these activities is the production of adenosine triphosphate, aka ATP, which fuels cellular and metabolic processes. In 1937, researchers discovered that the systemic disease known as pellagra is caused by a niacin deficiency. The disorder is typified by the 3 Ds: dementia, diarrhea, and dermatitis. Without treatment, which is simply providing niacin, pellagra can be fatal. The team's choice of nicotinamide as an enhancer of natural killer cells shines a spotlight on the common water-soluble compound and demonstrates how it can boost the anti-cancer activity of natural killer cells. These cells are lymphocytes and members of the innate immune system, the body's first response to invasive disease. Natural killer cells' job is help controlling cancer and invasive microbes. This makes me wonder if that thing at the beginning with 1937 researchers discovering that pellagra was caused by a niacin deficiency, I wonder if that's why we have niacin in all of our cereal. I'm trying to remember from my childhood, there was some episode, I don't remember if it was The Simpsons or if it was, there was a cereal with an unbelievable amount of niacin in it, and some character was trying to eat a massive amount of it and was just going insane because of it. I really want someone to look that up for me. Ultimate Pain Super Spicy Wings plus... Oh my god. If I ate super spicy wings and drank this beer, I would just be dead. They also thought for a while that schizophrenia was caused by... That's interesting that was caused by a lack of niacin? Fascinating. I wish it was. Then the cereal would be helping everybody who is afflicted with schizophrenia, which is an absolutely terrible disease. Scientists, meanwhile, who are developing the experimental therapy, have merely boosted these cells to help them attack cancers more efficiently. If further testing proves this method effective, and the Minneapolis-based scientists are convinced they're on the right track, then an innovative new approach to treating cancers of the blood will emerge. Load up the immune system with niacin and release it like a kid in a ball pit with a bunch of other kids, and it's going to go ham on them. We conducted a first in-human phase 1 clinical trial testing adoptive transfer of natural killer cells expanded ex vivo with IL-15 and nicotinamide combined with monoclonal antibodies in patients with relapsed or refractory non-Hodgkin lymphoma and multiple myeloma, Kichoki, asserted in Science Translational Medicine. So they took a bunch of natural killer cells, they hopped them up on IL-15 and nicotinamide, and they let them loose. What a study. In a small preliminary study, Kichoki and collaborators found that nicotinamide not only enhances the activity of natural killer cells, but boosts their persistence in the blood and bolsters the capability of these cells not only to hunt down cancer cells, but to handily destroy them. So you have given the child the strength of 100 children, and it is throwing haymakers. Why is dementia schizophrenia on a major uptake? Not sure. That's interesting. The combination of nicotinamide-enhanced natural killer cells and monoclonal antibody treatment was safe in 30 patients, including 20 with relapsed or difficult-to-treat non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Among 19 patients with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, 11 demonstrated a complete response and 3 had a partial response within 28 days of treatment. Nicotinamide appears to protect the natural killer cells from oxidative stress while enhancing their ability to home in on lymph nodes, the team found. High frequencies of CD62L were associated with elevated transcription factor 4 head box O1. I don't know what any of this is. I am not going to struggle bus through this paragraph. I'm sorry, Cassidy. In cancers, FOXO1, something that was brought up in the previous one, acts as a suppressor of malignant cells, mainly because of its roles promoting programmed cell death, or apoptosis, and inhibiting cell cycle progression, angiogenesis, and metastasis. What it looks like is... it looks like the hopped up natural killer cells basically just ran around and Fox 1'd all the cancer cells to death. Like, they rolled up on him and were like, kill yourself. And the cancer cells were like, okay, boss, bye. Nicotinamide promoted the stability of FOXO1 by preventing proteasomal degradation, Kachoki, lead author of the study, added. Natural killer cells cultured with nicotinamide exhibited metabolic changes associated with elevated glucose flux and protection against oxidative stress. I am not a doctor. I'm an engineer. If this was nuts and bolts, I could probably do a better job of this. I think it's what I just explained. Man, this article's rough. Natural killer cells treated with nicotinamide in the lab also demonstrated an increased ability to generate an inflammatory and toxic response against cancer cells. Kachoki and colleagues concluded that their findings suggest the new transfer strategy should be studied further in larger clinical trials. Thank you, Cassidy, for this article. I know I kind of struggled through the end of it. To everybody involved in these studies of hopping up the immune system and letting it go to town on cancer, cheers. Oh, let me catch up on the chat here. Eliza, that is really bullshit. And yeah, you do not do that. Yeah. That is something that does require time and energy and proper care to diagnose and to work with. Yep, hopefully a lot of help for Sean. Sean, your son is awesome. We all know that. And that is very good that, saving a lot of grief. I do need mead. I wish I could go to Arctos tomorrow and just drink some mead, but I've got a lot on my plate tomorrow. So I am probably not going to get over to Arctos Meadery. Man, my laptop is still screaming. One of these articles is just driving it nuts. I am going to have to... You know what? Let's see what's going on with it. Let's bust the task manager back open and see. Of course, it just tells me it's Chrome. Oh, that's interesting. OBS actually does put a pretty heavy load on it, too. Yeah, she's actually heating up. That's why it keeps kicking the fan on. She keeps heating up. Wonder if I can just make some bass noise in the background and hopefully not have it get picked up. Let's try that and see if that'll cool things off. I think it's all the ads that are attached to these. Yeah, it's got to be all the ads that are attached to... Wait a second, what was that popped up? That shouldn't be pulling a lot right now. Interesting. Maybe I do have some stuff I can kill. Oh, you know what? I wonder if that's actually probably not helping at all. Looking at my father and through my son's lenses, explain about my development years. Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Knowledge is power. So power corrupts. Wait a second, hold on. What just happened here? This turned around very quickly. Knowing is half the battle. Knowledge is power. Power corrupts absolutely. The Jedi, the Sith. Study hard, kids, be evil. Eliza, where are you taking this chat? I know a cove that has a bottle with my name on it. Thank you very much, Julie. I got a bottle with your Bane on it. If it's a bottle of pumpkin beer, it can stay at your cove. I don't need it. Oh, man. I'll take Red Dragon every day. Whatever that means. All right. So that takes us out of Category 2, Health and Medicine, and we are going to go into Category 3, Flora and Fauna, a.k.a. Plants and Animals. I called this next one, See a Seaweed, Hello Coral. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all would like to read along with me. Why would you ever make pumpkin tequila? Why? No. 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 Actual title of this article, Volunteers De-Seaweeding Results in Dramatic 600% Improvement of Coral Regrowth. Any good gardener knows that a good de-weeding can do for a vegetable garden. As it turns out, it's much the same for coral reefs. Following a volunteer seaweeding program launched in Australia, scientists are witnessing compounding coral recovery both in quantity and diversity, and suggest that this simple method has the power to transform degraded reefs overrun by macroalgae. In a balanced ecosystem, macroalgae is kept in check by the size and health of corals, but as extreme weather events or coral bleaching causes some sections of reefs to die, microalgae has no other neighbor keeping a check on its spread. Over a period of 3 years, the Joint Earthwatch Institute program led by James Cook University Senior Research Officer Hilary Smith and Professor David Bourne, also at JCU, and the Australian Institute of Marine Science, has organized volunteer citizen scientists to help remove microalgae at 2 experimental reef sites. The results of the first 3 years of work and study have now been published in the Journal of Applied Ecology, and they show a 600% increase in coral recovery rates. Coral! Did you hear that, coral? Sounds like heresy. It's just like weeding your garden, Smith said. Every time we return, the seaweed is growing back less and less, so this method could provide lasting benefit without requiring endless effort. The sites were located in the central zone of the Great Barrier Reef at an inshore location called Yunbinun, or Magnetic Island. The importance of the study, Smith details, is that a lot of reef recovery efforts globally are powered by expensive high-tech and experimental solutions. The study hoped to show that manual de-weeding was just as effective and thereby encourage organizations or nations that lack the tech or funding of a country like Australia to pursue seaweeding as a way of protecting their corals. We have yet to see a plateau in coral growth within these plots at Magnetic Island, which is characterized as one of the degraded reefs on the Great Barrier Reef, Smith said. We also found an increase in coral diversity, so this method is benefiting a wide range of different coral types. Smith said her team are now scoping other locations where the seaweeding technique could be useful, including the Whitsunday Islands, which are home to a different species of predominant seaweed. They also want to employ them in French Polynesia, Indonesia, and even Singapore, where experts have identified out-of-control macroalgae spread along coral reefs. Coral gets back in the reef. Man, now I want seaweed snacks. Microalgae is eaten by zooplankton, tadpoles, and crustaceans. What if we introduce more of them? Study volunteer hours and done. So I think, Eliza, one of the problems that they'd be running into with the reintroduction of other planktons, tadpoles, and crustaceans, one of the big things is this is saltwater. We do not have a lot of amphibians that are going to be producing tadpoles to be eating macroalgae or seaweed. We don't want to introduce predators as well, herbivores that prey a lot on seaweed, like urchins, because urchins can also be extremely damaging to coral reef environments. There's a lot going on with this, where it's looking like, at least in the short term, the best route is actually a man-made intervention where we're going in and just de-weeding the coral garden, which is interesting. But if it's effective, it's effective. And yes, student volunteer hours in abundance. That is really cool. To everybody at Earthwatch Institute, led by James Cook University and senior research official Hilary Smith and Professor David Bourne, and everyone involved in this, cheers. Water is not my element. Yep. Fucking sailors. That is really cool. Let's see. We got this next one from Cassidy as well. Thank you again, Cassidy, for sending this one in. I called this one the Muskegon Microforest. The actual title, a lot cuter, and I will paste this in the chat for y'all to read along. Urban Microforest with 2,000 plantings coming to Muskegon vacant lot. Muskegon is a city here in Michigan. My home, when I had my house, my first house, it was in Norton Shores, which is part of Muskegon. Interesting. Something just happened to my computer. Everything looks to be intact still. But yeah, so Ski Town has a special place in my heart, and this is really interesting. A vacant lot in the... What is going on? Oh, things went unresponsive. Let me just... That's what started killing it. Okay, it is this page. Interesting. A vacant lot in the city of Muskegon will be transformed into an urban microforest with more than 2,000 plantings. A lot on Marquette Avenue, just west of the US 31 overpass, will become an urban forest over 1 or 2 days next spring. Muskegon Parks and Recreation Director Kyle oh god, it's a Dutch name. Karczewski. I think that's Karczewski. Oh my gosh, it's really going bonkers right now. Really? Come on. It is this page. It's the MLive page. That's what's really screwing with my computer right now. Karkuchi? It can't be Karkuchi. We're gonna say Karkuchi from here on out. Yeah, this MLive article is actually killing everything. We're gonna get through this as fast as we can before it kills my stream. It will be a very dense planting of native species, he said. Wow, how many pages is it? Oh, it's killing a bunch of them. You know what? We are gonna, real quick, we're gonna reload this. Yeah, give me a second. We're gonna reload this, and yeah, that definitely did some damage here. There we go. All right, we'll boot it back up. All right, where'd we leave off here? It will be a very dense planting of native species, he said. It's a unique perspective on a park. More than 60 volunteers spent the United Way's Day of Caring on September 8th prepping the lot for the plantings. Their work included laying down cardboard to kill weeds as well as mulch and bark chips. What did Charlie say? Karkuchi. Karkuchi. It can't be Karkuchi. That doesn't make sense. There we go. I'm going to go back to Karczewski. I can't breathe. Shark. Shut up. Karczewski hopes many of them will return next April to help plant between 2,000 and 3,000 trees and plants. His hope is that all can be planted on Earth Day, April 24th, 2024, and Arbor Day on April 26th of 2024. About 50 different varieties of species will be planted, Karczewski said. A big part of it is restoring biodiversity, he said. It's hard in an urban area to have all of that. The 12,500 square foot lot, roughly a third of an acre on the south side of Marquette near Broadmoor Street, has few uses, and the city works to keep it mowed, he said. The microforest will muffle noise pollution from the nearby freeway, help combat climate change by removing carbon dioxide from the air, capture stormwater runoff, and allow for forest bathing, Karczewski said. What the hell is forest bathing? No, it is not Italian. I would know. A path through the forest with storyboards will promote forest bathing, which is based on a Japanese practice of spending time and being completely present in a natural area such as a forest to improve well-being. I love that. That's awesome. While the city's west side has large forests, particularly along Lake Michigan, to promote forest bathing, the city's east side does not, Karczewski said. Dave Bailey, the city's arborist, said plantings will include everything from understory to large canopy trees. Bailey estimated the cost of the project at between $10,000 and $20,000. The city has acquired some grants and is seeking more help to pay for it. In addition, the Muskegon Rotary Club has set aside 500 plants for the project, Bailey said. Rotary members, as well as individuals affiliated with the United Way of the Lakeshore and the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission, were among those who volunteered to prep the space. They all seem to be excited about the planting, which is the funner part of it, Bailey said. We're trying to figure out the logistics of getting that much done. We plan to get a lot of community help. In a typical year, Bailey plants between 200 and 400 trees on city property, but that work is spread throughout the year. Well, that's really cool. Forest bathing is just Japanese for skyclad. Great. Cassidy, thank you very much for sending this article in. To everybody involved in the city of Muskegon with planting 2,000 plantings on the Muskegon vacant lot and creating a microforest to forest bathe. Cheers. It's making me sing the song Shapoopy from The King and I, substituting it with the word. Oh, that's funny. Forest bathing, does that mean ferny kinnies? Fernkinis? The Ivy Speedo. Always like finding good stuff for my hometown. This was a good one, Cassidy. Thank you very much. I titled this next one, The Only Appropriate Time to Demolish Concrete. One of the projects I did a lot of, and I talk a lot about when I was doing my getting my engineering degree, I did a lot of research on concrete. I have developed a love for concrete. Though I work in metal, concrete is a very incredible material. I do not usually condone the destruction of concrete, but in this case I do. The title of this article is actually far more heartwarming, and I will post it in the chat for y'all to read along. This one is, Rescuers Move 5,000 Pounds of Concrete to Rescue Mewing Kitten from a Storm Drain. This little nugget went through quite the ordeal after falling down a storm drain near Port Jefferson Station on Long Island, New York. After someone heard mewing coming from the opening of the storm drain, rescuers were called to the scene. Strong Island Animal Rescue then worked with local police to move a 5,000-pound concrete slab atop the drain that would allow them to reach the kitten. And half the chat explodes with kitten. Using large jacks and then a hydraulic rescue tool called the Jaws of Life, they were able to reach the young one 30 feet down. The feeling we had while getting him out was similar to Raiders of the Lost Ark when they removed the slab from the well of the souls to get the Ark. Well, getting this kitten felt the same way when... Wow, this is a shitty sentence. Well, getting this kitten felt the same way when we were moving the slab to get a treasure as well as this little kitten, the Rescue Foundation wrote in a Facebook post. The Rescue Foundation needs to write better, but that is beside the point. They added that the kitty, whom they've named Lawrence, is coming along very quickly after being taken to Jefferson Animal Hospital, and that they will have him ready for adoption in no time. So, those of you screaming about kitties, if you want a kitty, you could own Lawrence. And there is a video attached of the rescue of Lawrence. That is awesome. So a 5,000 pound, 2.5 tons of concrete in a slab moved to get this cat out of the storm drain. To everybody involved, I gotta top myself off. I don't want to. To everybody involved in saving this cat, especially Strong Island Animal Rescue and local police, cheers. Oh. I'm gonna have to wash this down with more Kraken. Whew. All right, so with that, we move out of Category 3, the flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and we are going to move into Category 4, wholesome notes. You know, it's weird. I keep actually looking up to where my camera used to be. I need to get used to it being here. So, Category 4, wholesome notes. Those really nice, feely articles that we like to end on. Yeah, I know. Some of y'all have a lot of cats. Just some of y'all have awesome cats. I called this next one Clean Sweep. And I will copy and paste this one in the chat for y'all to read along. And I pulled this one, and I like this one especially because it pertains to another article that we had last time on Nick's News that I absolutely love. So here we go. I called it Clean Sweep. The actual title, Inspired Youth Pulls 2.6 million pounds of trash from Indonesian rivers. Only ever had one Harley got his name because his purr was akin to a 74. The only Category 4 you want coming at ya. Oh, I get it. That's a good one. I like that. All right. Inspired Youth pulls 2.6 million pounds of trash from Indonesian rivers. In Indonesia, the worsening plastic pollution crisis has led young Sam Benchajib, oh boy, this is another name I'm going to screw up, Sam Benchajib, to start Sungai Watch, an environmental organization dedicated to keeping Indonesia's waterways clean by installing river barriers to prevent plastic and other trash from entering the ocean. An average of 2,000 kilograms, or 4,400 pounds in freedom units, of plastic waste per week can leak into the ocean from just a single village. Proper management of plastic waste is lacking in coastal communities in the country, the number 2 contributor to the ocean plastic crisis, pushing the government to vow $1 billion to cut 70% of its marine plastic waste by 2025. With his 2 siblings, Benchajib started Sungai Watch in October of 2020. They experienced many setbacks throughout the almost 3 years of building Sungai Watch, from the technology and equipment used in their barriers to staff shortages to learning how to scale the project. He says they're still learning new things every day and continually improving their processes. Sungai Watch has successfully cleaned several of Indonesia's most polluted rivers and has revived mangrove ecosystems that have been damaged because of plastic pollution, using a system similar to litter booms. So far, over 1.2 million kilograms, or 2.6 million freedom unit pounds, of plastic waste has been collected from river systems and bodies of water. That is really cool. I grew up in Indonesia and saw that plastic pollution was getting worse and worse throughout the years, Benchajib said. I think that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur and fighting an issue with like plastic pollution, where new challenges and variables are always presented to you, he said. This has been a true life school for us. Despite these challenges, they have removed over 2.6 million pounds of freedom units of plastic from Indonesia's rivers, installed 180 trash barriers throughout Indonesia's most polluted rivers, and have grown from a team of 3 siblings to 100 people full-time staff helping the mission to clean the rivers. That is awesome. Some of our success stories include seeing fish populations return to what were once extremely polluted waterways, reviving mangrove forests after removing layers and layers of plastic which was suffocating mangrove trees, Benchajib says. In certain rivers, they had to remove their barriers as they were no longer useful due to the lack of plastic pollution, after working upstream with communities on education and raising awareness about properly managing waste at the household level. So they were so effective upstream, they had to go back downstream and take their barriers out. That is fantastic. Hooray for yay mangrove restoration. The fuzzly noodles I've had, despite the lack of purr, the Duke was strong with them. They make fantastic neck pillows. Oh, ferrets? Oh, cat snakes? Sean, you have cat snakes? Oh gosh, that's a whole different breed of monster right there. To Sam Benchajib and his siblings for starting a 100-strong initiative and cleaning 2.6... Jesus Christ, I gotta look at that number again. 2.6 million pounds of trash from Indonesian rivers, and educating other villages on how to properly deal with plastic waste. Cheers. Oh, I'm sorry, Had. I apologize. They are cat snakes, though. They're oh my god. Ferrets freak me the fuck out. Alright, I called this next one Stranger Things to the Rescue. Actual title is a bit cooler, and I will copy and paste this in the chat. No, I don't want a cat snake. I don't. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. No, 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 never. No. I do not want a cat snake. I have bugs, and I am fine with that. Alright, I'm going to post this in the chat if y'all want to read along. "12-year-old saves man who passed out underwater. Credits CPR learned from Stranger Things." Netflix's Stranger Things has won 12 primetime Emmys and tens of millions of fans over the course of its 4 seasons, but it may have ultimately achieved something even greater than that. It saved a man's life. A 12-year-old named Austin McMillan was able to revive his behavioral therapist Jason Paquette after he partially drowned by using CPR that he learned while watching the television show. McMillan was swimming with Paquette in his home's pool when at a certain point the therapist wanted to see how long he could hold his breath underwater. Something we've all done in a pool and probably shouldn't. He racked up an impressive 6 minutes, though it's unclear how many of those minutes were voluntary, because what is clear is that at a certain point he lost consciousness. McMillan quickly grabbed the man after realizing he wasn't coming up, dragged him out of the water, and began running around the house screaming for help. When it didn't come, he returned to Paquette's side and performed CPR. The whole ordeal was captured on a Ring camera. "I just saw it from a TV show, Stranger Things," Austin told ABC News. "After I gave him CPR, he woke up a few minutes later." Paquette believes he lost consciousness about 30 seconds into his underwater attempt, but doesn't know why. Strange! Hypoxia does weird things to us. "It was definitely a really proud mom moment. He's really brave and courageous," said Christina McMillan, Austin's mom. "It's a reminder that movies and television aren't a complete waste of time, and that if you happen to be planning a CPR scene for your production, make sure it's the real technique. It could save a life." Wow. That's incredible. Wow, that is a great article. I'm so happy for that. To Austin McMillan for saving his behavioral therapist after the man did a stupid thing. Cheers. That beer is almost as bad as the thought of owning a cat snake. And Sean, if you brought anything within a 50-mile radius of my home that would threaten my bugs, you wouldn't be riding your motorcycle ever again. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to let that one sink in. And with that, we are going to move on to our last article of the night. I called this one 218 Touchdowns. The actual title is even better, and I will post it in the chat here. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. The Streamlabs chat doesn't catch replies. Y'all have been replying to one another, and I actually haven't seen those. That's fascinating. Who actually rides again? Okay, Sean, I didn't get my endorsement this last summer. But you know, I do have a 1958 Dual Glide waiting for me, so there is that. I'm going to post this article in the chat. We're going to get into it. Actual title of this one: NFL running back makes 218 single parents new homeowners with collaborative charity. A former NFL great recently surprised a single mother and her daughter with a brand new home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But it was just one of 217 other such blessings that Warwick Dunn has managed to fund. The collaborative effort by Warwick Dunn Charities, Habitat for Humanity, and Catholic High School, where Dunn himself graduated, saw the house built, furnished, and stocked with food. Dominic and Miracle, single mother, first-time homeowner. I think it's important to help change the community and the environment, create stability for a family that could potentially have good long-term positive impacts, Dunn said upon returning to his hometown to welcome the family. Catholic High School raised $85,000 for the house. A new home, a new fresh start, a new beginning. I'm totally blessed, said Dominique after walking into the new home for the first time, worried dreadfully about her makeup running for all the crying she knew she'd be doing. Sheets were already on the bed and food was already in the fridge. The mortgage was there on the dinner table for signing, with Dunn's charity alongside it to help with the down payment check. Drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1997, Dunn launched Homes for the Holidays to honor his late mother's dream of owning her own home that same year. An extremely consistent performer, in 12 seasons, Dunn missed only 10 games, made the Pro Bowl team on 3 occasions, and in all but 2 seasons accumulated over 1,000 all-purpose yards for the Buccaneers and the Falcons. When he retired, he ranked 14th in NFL history for all-purpose yards, with 15,306 yards. In 2005, Dunn was presented with the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. This award is the only NFL award that recognizes a player for his community service, as well as for his excellence on the field. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, Dunn challenged all NFL players, except for those who play for the New Orleans Saints, to donate at least $5,000 to the effort. The effort received over $5 million in contributions. According to Dunn's website, which has become the home of all 3 of his charitable organizations, the program partners with local community organizations to reduce the burden on new single-parent homeowners by fully furnishing their new house, providing down payment assistance checks, and stocking the pantry with food. That is amazing. 218 single parents become new homeowners thanks to one man's Charity Foundation. Warwick Dunn, fantastic work, sir. And cheers. Oops, gotta move this over here. That wraps up all of our articles. I think that was a good set. We hit, how many did we hit? 10 good articles tonight. Thank you very much, Cassidy, for sending in 3 of them. Again, I appreciate participation. If y'all find some really good articles that you like that possibly aren't from MLive, because that was what was killing our stream all night, I would greatly appreciate them. Yeah. Wow, this has been a good one. We went an hour and 30 minutes on the new format with Streamlabs. I still have a little bit more work to do. It's still doing the double speech. I got to figure out why. Still not sure on that one. Why it wants to do that, but I will work on that while we're still hashing things out. So it does not have to be all Cassidy. I would appreciate someone else to please send me an article. Kendra, sometimes you do. Others, please find me something. That is a good one, Sean. Yeah. I mean, after Katrina with Dunn asking for, given their salary size, for everybody but the New York Saints to just pitch in $5,000 and making $5 million, that's pretty solid. Yeah, retaining humanity in the face of so much money is a big one. So, yeah. Well, we have hit the end of our stream. The Brady and the Kitties. You did. Julie, you have also given me good articles in the past as well. Y'all, if you find good news, I do appreciate it. But we're gonna go into our outro. Thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Facebook page, the Knicks News Facebook page. Again, we are going to have the Knicks News YouTube page up and running, and that is going to be another place to find replays of our news. All of the recordings will be there as well. And we're also going to have clips and some fun little bits here and there for it. So probably a few more tech tests as we're working out things with Streamlabs and everything. I do want to get this damn double text to go away, so we're probably going to do a few more experiments with that. Time to finish the pumpkin poison. Again, we're live usually every other Sunday. It was just that I had a work thing, so I had to do this on Monday. But we will be back on Sundays. And our next Knicks news is going to be on the 8th of October. This upcoming weekend, I'm out in Cedar Point, and I have a D&D game. And then after that, on the 8th of October, 2023, we will be back with the next episode of Knicks News. I encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, please post suggestions for a news brew, a shout out, a news quote, and even good news articles that you find that we can present on future episodes. If you do find something or you want to do a news brew, a shout out, a quote, send those to the Knicks News chat or post them to the Knicks News page. That's the place that I use to cultivate all of the stuff for an upcoming Knicks News article. So. Oh God, y'all are terrible. Y'all are awful. Spooky season has begun. I'm so happy for spooky season. Yeah, as always, thank you all again. I love you all so much. And have a great night. And I'm gonna play us out with this awful beer.